All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to our first video from Amethyst Eyeworks. Today I'm going to be interviewed by our very own lead of social media, Tabitha, and she's got some questions for me. These were formulated by the team and by some of our community. So with that going on, Tay, how are you? Welcome.
Hello, I am good. It's warm today though, so
Warm is not a bad thing.
well, that's true because we had snow a couple days ago.
Ah, we did too. That was interesting. It was like, really? Snow in May?
Yeah,
But what are you going to do? That's the way it works.
right. Yeah.
So you are our head of social media,
Mm-hmm.
and you are also the lead for our female gaming council. And I think you have a question or two for me from them.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about you, if you don't mind.
Well, I do social media for Amethyst. I've been playing games since I was in kindergarten, I think. We got our first Nintendo, and we had Mario Brothers and
Yeah.
Duck Hunt.
That sounds like what is that? The SNES, the original.
Yeah. hmm
Outstanding, outstanding.
Yeah. And we'd come home from school, and Mom would be like, "You can play it for 30 minutes," and then she would play the rest of the night.
Wait, does that mean that you now have that role where, okay, you can play for a little bit, now I'm going to play the rest of the night? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Well, I don't mean to hit you with a bunch of questions,
It's
but
okay.
you have some questions for me, as I understand.
I do.
All right.
So our writer and I got together and put some questions together for you. And I have one from our female gamers council also.
Okay. Well, I tell you what,
Uh,
why don't we just get to it?
all right. So, why don't you tell us a little about you and how you got into game design?
Oh, that's an interview all by itself. Let's see. I'm 50, married 32 years, 5 children, 7 grandchildren. My professional life is actually in real estate. Spent most of my life doing that. Spent some time in the military, former 101st Man 13 Fox, a Ford Observer. Did that for a few years. Two things I've always had a passion for in my life. The first one is writing, but I am not a writer, as you know. And the second one happened when I was 10 years old. I got a Commodore 64 at the age of 10, and I realized instead of just playing games, I could create them. But life is what life is, and it was something I wasn't able to get to. I met my wife when I was 18, and gaming didn't pay the bills. I've gamed since I don't know. I think even before I had a computer, I had this crazy game that had like this mountain in the center, and you press buttons, and it told you what happened on a random scale. Um, but when I got the Commodore 64, it became everything. But at the time, no college degree, I didn't know programming, and certainly the programming I learned from magazines for the Commodore 64 weren't going to pay the bills. Real estate did, though. Um,
Mm.
and so, really, this is something that I've put off until I've hit a different stage in my life, which is where I am now. In this stage of my life, um, I can take the time that I want to take to do what I want to do. So, in January of 2021, I decided to sit down and uh, put what I had learned to use. Now, what I'd learned previously is I had taken my C++ courses. I chose C++ because of its stability, its power, both on the high end and low end. When I say high end, programming language, there's different levels to it. And I like the fact that C++ handles both. I don't need to do something else to speak in a low level language versus a high level language.
Mm.
Um, so I had been working on that and played with different things and you know different videos and different classes and things like that. I mean, you've seen the classes that I've done. And
Mhm.
as a gamer, there are two things that drive me crazy. The first one is The loudest people are not your biggest crowd. I'm sorry, the squeaky wheel does get the grease, but it shouldn't. It should be given the broom. Um, and I really wanted, as you know, we've played games before, Tay. We've
Hmm.
played, um, I love the survival genre. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, the survival genre is either all zombies or all PvP ass wipes. Now, I know that you don't like that I said PvP ass wipes. I am not saying all PvPers are ass wipes. I am saying there are PvPers, and then there are the other group, which are that fall into that asswipe category. And the one thing that I enjoy is role playing. Sometimes heavy role play, sometimes light role play. Role players, who are some of the biggest gamers in the industry, are certainly some of the biggest game payers in the industry, get the least amount of attention because if we're in an area and the people are being shitty, we walk. You know that. We walk. We don't want to deal with that. We just want to be able to have fun and play our games. And that
Hmm.
is what led to all of this. How can I put my money and my time where my mouth is? How about I start developing games? And that is how Amethyst was born.
Okay. Um,
A little longer
why?
than you expected me to go, huh?
No, you're good. Why Amethyst Eyeworks? Is there something special about this name?
Actually, yes. So Amethyst Eyeworks is I love the color purple. Um,
Me too.
and my wife's, see, there you go. My wife's birthstone is an amethyst. And as you know, I adore my wife.
Hmm.
Um, and on my, so I used to be a big D&D player. And on my shoulder, I have an amethyst dragon. The amethyst dragon was a gem dragon in AD&D version 2. That's in the Monsters Compendium. And as a gem dragon, they were known to be the wisest and fiercest. So what a great homage to my wife and my love of D&D and the Amethyst Dragon. I think it symbolizes everything I want it to.
Very
And it
cool.
eye works because 3D video, right? Visuals. You
Hmm.
have all that, so you get to see all that. So Amethyst Eye Works.
Very cool.
Funny, I gotta tell you a funny note. I used to play this game called The Movies. I don't know if you've ever
Mhm.
seen that game. You run a movie
Uh-uh.
studio, and my movie studio was always Amethyst Eyeworks, always.
What do you think is the greatest challenge you face when starting out as an indie studio in this climate?
Money.
Yeah.
It's absolutely money. Um, so it's money and time, and I want to explain both of them. Money. I recently said on a tweet that one of the hardest things is money because it takes money to do these things. I mean, just on the parts that I've done, I've spent thousands of dollars. And everybody's like, oh, thousands of dollars, whoop de doo. Studios are doing millions and millions of dollars and things like that. I don't care what the other studios are doing.
Hmm.
But the money I'm talking about is what everything costs to whether listen, even if you're jumping on something like Fiverr and you're buying assets, that's money. If you're on the Epic store and you're buying assets, hopefully you're getting them for free, but maybe you want to buy something there. Or even something as you know, when we were going through looking at ClickUp and Monday.com to help get the team organized, or even Word or Google. Everybody's, well, Google's free. Yes, Google is free. Try putting a team on that. It's not free. The drive space that you have is smaller. If you're using Word or using the Microsoft products, they have something very similar. You're paying every month, and these are ranging anywhere from $15 to $60 a month. These things add up. Let's talk about education. Since one of my big things, as you know, I'm sure there's a question here about this. Um, but in forming all this, it wasn't I'm promising you, money up front. We're all working together on a goal. Well, those
Hmm.
have costs too. We have to have a server running for our collaboration. We have to have our emails, and we have to have our communication. These things are not free. They can be made free through hoops and by lying. Let's be honest, by lying, you can also get it. But what about the creation of privacy policies? So when people come to our website or want to use our game, what about the cost of incorporation? What about there's so many millions of costs. I mean, again, I think to date I am up to 10 grand that I've put
Oh,
out in
wow.
cash. And this was not for assets. This is for us to function as a company.
Right.
And you don't realize that. And this really hits to today's market. The parts for the server weren't free, though I did get some of them for free from my son. And
Mhm.
this server is not going to last. This server is only for corroboration within Epic so that we have our assets being shared so we're not overwriting each other. Storing our other documents, just legalese, keeping them for X amount of time to make sure we have reference. All these things cost. All of them cost. Now, I could go get a loan. I'm not doing that. I could go seek investors. I'm not doing that. And the big question is why? That's what game studios do. No, that's what you're used to them doing. I'm a
Mhm.
bootstrap kind of guy. All right. If I can turn around and start in real estate and in real estate title, make my first million before I was 30 and lose it before I was 40, I can certainly do this. And there's other ways of doing it. And the biggest way is we can generate income if we simply give our consumers a product. We don't know what that income is going to be, but if we develop a good game for gamers that isn't pay to win, but I'm going to let you customize the living daylights out of it, then I think you're going to support us. And I'm
Mhm.
willing to take that gamble. In fact, our entire team is willing to take that gamble. And I think that's the best method. I don't want an investor breathing down our necks telling us that we've got to cut something or we've got to do a certain profit margin by a certain time. That's putting undue pressure on a creative process, and long term, it's going to harm us. Also, I understand that everyone is all about debt servicing, and debt servicing is the way the world works. And my answer is no. It doesn't have to work that way. We can go back to some tried and true methods and we can finally do something to get something. We don't
Mhm.
want anything for free and just because we ask and you might get something. I'm not going to name the studios, but the number of studios that have shit on this industry with their debt servicing and credit procedures is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. New wave is not always best wave. I'll go with old school on that. The second thing, yeah,
Definitely.
right. I mean, it's just I know this is a lot. I'm dumping a lot out there, and I'm sure our editor's gonna love some of the things that I'm saying. Thanks, Chris. But the truth is the truth, and I'm very big on being open about things. So I'm ready to be open about all of it, all parts of it, not just the little inconvenient parts that go up, you know, on YouTube or on social media because, oh, look, it's happy, happy, pretty, pretty. They're doing the same thing. No,
Mhm.
just no. And then the
Right.
second thing is time. Things take time. Whether it's doing this video, which is obviously a social media side piece, and it doesn't mean it's bad because it's a side piece, but it's not the game, right? It is
Mhm.
not the game. The amount of time from learning to coding to creating, the creative process alone is a huge amount of time. Artwork,
Mhm.
thankfully, we have now 3 people working in art. That's a huge, 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 huge time saver. But pure coding is just a lot of time. If I want to, just reference a bunch of different things, I spent 6 hours the other day, you know, um, coding things for the database. That's time. You
And
can't
your
get
other
past it.
coders still going to school.
Correct. Correct. I am the man of many hats. Many hats. Um, but yeah, that is it. I mean, he is still learning. I mean, he's probably got another week left, and that'll be great. And his progress has been phenomenal, and I'm
Mhm.
so happy for that. But time is something we cannot recoup. It is, if you're on our Twitter, the whole thing with um, uh, Dumbledore, looking around and throwing his hands up. Yeah, that's really time, because if an email isn't answered or a deadline is missed or something is not remembered until you're already an X amount, or like in John's case when he's doing the writing, like, dude, there's a cutoff date here. Can't have any edits after this date. That's real. And
Mm-hmm.
that has nothing to do with outside of the project. That has nothing to do with life and death. I mean, we have two members, three members now that have recently lost grandparents. That's a hit in time, and they have to
Mm-hmm.
have that. And you have things like we have someone getting married this year. That's a hit in time, but you can't do it because that's the celebration of life itself. Even all of that, we have to appreciate that. We have to remember that. We have to honor that and cherish it. So understand that money is big, time is bigger. Time is the biggest one of all. There's a reason it takes studios so many years to produce a product. I mean, there's a product that came out today that I haven't played that I do want to play. Two developers, two, and it took them 6 years to create their project, and they did their early release today. If you haven't been on Steam, I know I didn't plan on doing this, but if you haven't seen the game Captain of Industry, and you like things like Factorio or Satisfactory, this is isometric. You need to go check these guys out. Two dudes created 6 years, created a product that looks phenomenal and that I am itching to play. But that's 6 years that they're never getting back. So all they can do is produce a good product for us. And that's what I want to do. That's why time is the other biggest challenge.
Yeah.
God, I'm long-winded. Who the hell lets me talk? What the hell?
So staying up to date with the latest trends is important for any business. How does Amethyst Eyeworks plan to stay fresh?
Um, so I think it's a bullshit question. Because I think freshness and innovation for the sake of freshness of innovation is a lie and a marketing tool. I think staying fresh is more like, can we just stay responsible? Can we understand that gamers need a platform, and they need good product, and they need to quit being sold services that are garbage? Or my personal favorite is, here's a new ability, here's a new something, just to give you something new. Well, if you had done it solid to begin with, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about staying fresh. Let's step away from that for a minute, because we can look at a 16-bit game, Stardew Valley. What's fresh
Mm-hmm.
about Stardew Valley? Nothing. What's great about Stardew Valley? Everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? Great gameplay, great dynamics. Visually sucks, particularly for a colorblind person. You have to understand that game's very hard for me. I love what it is. And innovation or staying fresh. Look at something like Minecraft. Name me a better game.
Mm-hmm.
Name me a better, far-reaching game. Indie, by the way. Let's not forget that. I think when
Right.
we talk about staying fresh, we need to talk about a subject people don't like talking about, and that's culture. Is fresh playing a game and telling a woman to go make a sandwich? Because that's the trend, right? That trend's been
Yeah.
around for years now. I would
Right.
I would absolutely say, don't stay fresh. Be right. Be sincere. Be caring. Develop for the community. Develop for the people. If you do that and you stay true to that, you don't have to worry about staying fresh or staying on the trend. Screw a trend. How many trends ended up being bad for people?
Mm-hmm.
And see, this really gets to me because I'm an old time gamer. I'm an old man at this point. In the gaming world, I'm ancient. I get that. My first MMO was UO. Vicious, nasty, beautiful, wonderful game of Britannia. Right? Wonderful game. Brutal game. Rude game. But I also played everything from there to here. I've played WoW a lot. You know that. You played with me, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I've played all these games. Can you name me any of those that survived or did well by staying fresh? Listen, I need to be very clear. I am a StarCraft fiend. I love the game. I love the story. The RP in me comes out. Kerrigan and Rayner, some of my greatest favorite characters in all of gaming. My mat here on my desk is literally of Jim Rayner and Kerrigan. Okay, that's so. But look at what, and you know what? I'm not going to sit there and jump on Blizzard because that's a trend, deserved, deserved. But let's look at one studio's version of Fresh versus another. Oh, I get to fly, but I got to earn it. Oh, I get to change the way I look, but I have to pay real money for it. Can't earn it in game, got to do that. And a plethora of other fresh and new things that they do. Let's talk about fresh and new. How many? There are some. I open up saying there are some, but how many games let you choose your pronoun?
Right.
Listen, I'm an old guy. I don't understand it. You know, Tay, I'm struggling to understand it, right? But I know two things. Gender is social. Sex is scientific. We like to cross that line. But how many games out there look at it and go, you know what? I want you to be able to play my game your way. Not my way, your way. That is the freshest thing that people could do, and they don't do it. They don't, as a rule, they're not doing, listen, even if it's male, female, non-binary, or some other classification in there that lets you love the game, lets you go in and feel the game and be a part of it. We want to talk about fresh. We want to stay up on current trends. No, let's do what's right. Right is better. Right is always better. Let's speak to the truth of gamers, of what they need to do, and how we need to support that. Because in the end, if we don't support the gamers, we are nothing. We are absolutely nothing. And I don't want to support you by you paying me more money to force me to support you. How about you go and you buy our games because we made you a good game and we cared about you? Name me something classier, fresher, more up to beat, more up to date than that. Sorry, I get a little on my soapbox every now and then. It's kind of a thing.
I want to talk about funds a little bit.
Okay.
We kind of already.
You said funds, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to adjust my light here because I think when I'm looking at the camera. Yeah, okay. All right, I think we're better. We'll see. Actually, I might just take my glasses off because the glare on my glasses. That's all right. Just so you all know, now I cannot see you. All right. Go ahead, Tay.
I know we kind of already talked about this, but how are you planning on how are you planning to fund the AE projects?
So let's start with project number one. We call it the project name, not the final name. The project name is Zero and the Catapult, or Zero and his Catapult, or just Catapult for short. You'll hear us call it that many, many different times. So getting it released. It will not be a free game. Correction, sorry. It will be a free game, but you will be able to buy skins that are aesthetically, but in no way, shape, or form are these skins changing stats. They are just so you can make your character, your sidekick character, your catapult, your cow, your workshop. So all of these things can be customized to you. There are some basic skins that you can get in the game free just by playing the game, and then there are games that you can buy that are more unique, and those will be tiered. What will those pricing tiers be? Anything from 99 cents to potentially $20 for an entire set. These are potentials. These are not locked in stone in any way, shape, or form. I think if we produce, and I believe with everything that I am, if we produce a game that you enjoy playing, and I give you ways to make your character special and unique to you, you'll support us. You'll support us by buying the skins. And not everyone will. But there are those who will, and they'll help that. And when we look at mobile, and by the way, Zero and his Catapult will be on mobile. It is a mobile-only game. When we look at the mobile platform, microtransactions are prevalent everywhere. Now, listen, I understand and I hear you. I play a couple mobile games. I play Awaken Chaos Era, and I play Summoner's War. I will tell you, in Summoner's War, I have 7 accounts. 6 of those accounts are 100% free. One of those accounts, I give them money every month. I don't give them a lot. It's like a subscription to an MMO, right? But I do that. Why? Because their game looks great. I do the same thing with Awaken. I only have 2 accounts there. Um, I like certain skins. I like the transmogs. I like to, listen. My for those who play Summoner's War, I love my Vertihile on his skateboard and his spray paint can. I mean, I love that look. It's fantastic, right? You know, I want my characters to look good. That means something to me, and it turns out I'm not alone. And on top of that, the number one per person spender. Do you know who they are?
Hmm.
Female gamers.
We like things to be pretty.
Right, but here's the thing, you're not alone. Just listen, I'm a guy's guy. I want my stuff to look nice too. Why wouldn't I? There's no reason for it not to, right? Even in Final Fantasy, you know I'm playing Final Fantasy again. Forgot how beautiful that game is. Oh my God. And I'm
beautiful.
going through it. I want my man, listen, I want Brehon to look a certain way. I want him to just look the way I want him to look. And if I've got to pay something for him to look a certain way, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Listen, in my other games, like I have, 3,000 hours nearly in Conan Exiles. I have nearly 3,000 in Empyrean. I have, I have something like 7 to 10,000 in Civ 4, right? Do you know in each one of those games I have paid money to look a certain way or to have a certain thing or get all the DLCs that I want, and they're not game DLCs, they're image DLCs. I've spent hundreds in Stellaris to make sure I had the looks. It's insane. I'm willing to do that, and I'm betting you're willing to as well. In fact, I'm willing to bet an entire company on it. I'll make it look good. I will find the artist. I will get the artist. I have the artist to make it look as pretty as you want it to look, to make sure that you have a look you want to get. To me, it's like Ready Player One, whether it's the book or the movie. I want you to be able to look the way you want to look. Express yourself your way, not my way. Once again, your way. So I'm willing to bet the entire company on it.
Nice.
That's a long way for saying microtransactions. And on that, microtransactions are not bad and evil in and of themselves. Microtransactions so you can pay to be better than someone else, now that I have issue with. I don't think just because you spent $100 or in another game saying $10,000 to be and do something other people can't, I think that's shit. I just think it's shit. I think it is looking at the industry saying, you know what? My accountants want me to make money. My investors want me to make money. They want me to make 6 to 8% year over year. I am not willing to sacrifice my game, my team, my company, nor my consumers with that kind of bullshit logic. That kind of it's not even anti-corporate. It's anti-company. I come from an old world school of thought. I'm making a product for all of you, not some of you.
Right. So just kind of to keep going with money.
Okay.
Given the range of games that seek funding and never release, what are your opinions on crowdfunding?
No. Just no. I'm going to give you 2 examples, and I'm going to give them to you by name. People may not like that I'm going to do it by name because one is almost okay, and the other one is just a little flaming pile of crap. Let's talk about Chronicles of Lyrian crowdfunding. Let's go ahead and give these things. We're going to be able to do these things. You're going to be a king, and we're going to charge you $10,000 in crowdfunding. and you're going to go ahead and we're going to do all these offers and we're going to tell you about all these virtual things. And then we get so focused on getting your money, we don't get focused on our game. That's a mindset problem. Let's look at Robert's Space Industry, Robertson Space, whatever that actual name is, right? RSI. Yes, you're getting all your stuff and it looks like there's going to be a game. In 12 years, millions upon millions of dollars. What have the consumers got? Where's the game? Now, people are going to say, hey, I'm playing the game. So, one, you have one where the game's going to come out. I believe it'll come out. And you've been given digital things for your money. But you are buying into a service. You are buying into a game. You are buying in to the ability to be part of a world. I'm not that guy. I'm not willing to be that guy. I am not saying crowdfunding is evil. And if you look it up, you're going to see I have a Patreon up there. And you're going to see that Patreon is not active. Because I thought long and hard about it. I don't want to be beholden to my fiduciary duty to you to provide you with something that I may not be able to. It is a truth with every single development gaming company out there that your project can fail. Your project cannot finish. If I am so worried about satisfying what you believe you paid for, I believe that effort can be better spent in the game development itself. And I'm willing to stake a company on it. I am willing to say that our love and passion for gaming, the love and passion for gaming that I have, that the Amethyst team has, is worth more than that. Yeah. Do you want me to make a game? Or do you want me to run around trying to satisfy everyone's fantasy of what the game should be in their eyes in development because they gave you X dollars? That's a problem. It's always been a problem. I have a cautionary tale in that problem in a different industry. I appreciate everyone so very much. I will not use you. I will not abuse you. I'm not that guy. I'm too old to be that guy. I don't believe in that. I think it's wonderful, and there are so many people that come up with games, whether it's tabletop or computer or entertainment or devices or whatever it is. So many have done wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things on crowdfunding. But we're a gaming company. We're going to stick to making games.
Right. So we've talked a little bit about Zero and his catapult.
Yeah, that's my buddy Zero, yes.
Is there anything else you would like to tell us about this game?
So, listen, there's no way around it. I'm just going to be very upfront. It is very similar to an Angry Birds type of game, but it's a different thing. What it comes down to is you're Zero. Why Zero? Because it's a non-gender specific name. Also, so I do things on layers. I tend to name things on layers, do things on layers, but also zero to hero. You've heard that phrase before. Zero, the very beginning. Zero is one in programming, right? Everything in programming starts at zero. So there's all these different layers on it. But more importantly, I wanted the consumer to be able to go, this is Zero, but this is my Zero, right?
Right.
Whether that Zero is female, male, non-binary, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to choose that, and you're going to be able to choose options to make Zero look the way you want Zero to look. If you want Zero to be feminine, rock on. You want Zero to be masculine, rock on. You want Zero to be something in between or not quite or not any of those, rock on. We're there. We hear you. I started out, over a year ago, Tay, when I asked that question on Facebook, right? Because that's a huge thing. So I want Zero to be you. It is your starting point, not mine, yours. What do you want Zero to be? You're your sidekick, Dave Vinci. What do you want Dave to be, right? Dave is male. It's a homage to Da Vinci. What do you want Bullet Bullet is so. Let's get a little bit about Zero. So Zero is the wizard, and Zero studies magic, but he was kicked out of the Magic Society, the Magic Academy, because every time he casts a spell, he summons a magic cow. It doesn't matter what it is; it's a magic cow. So Zero's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be a cow herder. I'm going to be a farmer or rancher, and I'm going to raise magic cows. Well, nobody wanted his magic cows because everyone was afraid of magic cow disease. So he's down on his luck, and he runs into Da Vinci. Da Vinci has a problem, and Zero has a unique solution. And that solution is using his magic cows to cause destruction when launched from a catapult. And our lovely cow to start is our mascot Bullet, or Bullet. It's a homage in many different directions. If you ever seen Con Air, you know the line where he says something about catch a bullet, but he's Southern, so it has a draw to it. And also, Bullet is ammo for the catapult, which makes it a catapult because Bullet's a magic cow. Yeah, layers on layers of stuff. I'm a little on the crazy side with that. But he summons Bullet, and the last thing I want to reveal on that is there is also the Bullet Cam, and the Bullet Cam is when you are launched, you are able to see things from Bullet's perspective.
Very cool.
It is so. This is 2D plus. What I mean by 2D plus, it will appear to be 2D, but it is actually developed in a 3D world, and we are capturing everything with the use of different cameras within the game. A personal favorite of mine is Sideswipe. I don't play Sideswipe, Rocket League Sideswipe. I'm just not coordinated enough, and I don't have the reactions enough. But my son does, and that's how I first found out about it. If you look at Rocket League Sideswipes 2D plus, you'll have an understanding of the use of color and depth within a 3D space where it appears 2D, but again, there's more depth to it. And just for the record, if you didn't know, we are developing an Unreal Engine 5. So yeah, so this is an Unreal 5 project, and I look forward to people being able to see it.
Very cool. Okay, so I would like to talk about inclusivity for a moment. So female gamers have been an unrepresentative class in gaming.
Can we be more honest and let's just say they've been shit on for years now? Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't believe in pulling the punch. It's been horrible. I'm sorry. Please finish your question. I'm sorry.
It's okay. How does AE plan to handle inclusivity in its games and workforce?
So it's a pretty deep question, and there's a few things for it. I want people to. Now, I'm sure you have a question for this. I did at one point in time have all the questions. I have not looked at them because I like a more real response versus something that is scripted. So, first and foremost in the game, I think giving equal weight, responsibility, and priority to the player themselves without any consideration for gender has to be a start. I specifically and purposely said gender because we must allow people to express themselves. We are gamers. We are the perfect medium for equality. So why aren't we using it? Well, we are. Amethyst is. Our games will and do. It is that simple. How do you have inclusivity? Charlie, you're being a punk. Sorry, guys. I've known Tay for years, and I know that her dog is Charlie. So
quit it.
But how do you have inclusivity? Include them. Just include them. Why is that so hard? How do you include them? Stop going ahead and following these tropes and these bases that are just meant to cause divisiveness. No, just no. That's not okay. So I think having that philosophy is the start. I don't care what is the latest trend. What I care about is, again, what is right. So you make it right by including them. You make it right by realizing that human beings and representation in gaming or even in life, because life imitates gaming, gaming imitates life. No different than movies, no different than any form of art. Gaming is an art form. Let's not forget that. So with that being the case, why does it have to be you're only male, you're only female? Why can't you be female via transgender female, male via transgender male? Why can't you have all the variety and let the player make the choice? Why can't you turn around and why is your love interest? Years ago when Star Wars The Old Republic came out, I did radio shows for it. I was in the beta. I played it on release. We did all the content. It was really cool because you could have a relationship. If you wanted male to male relationship, do it. You wanted female to female relationship, do it. You want polygamy, you could basically do it within their scope of direction. Why is that taboo? And I personally love it when someone comes in, I don't really like that. I don't want to see male on male. Right, but you'll see female on female. Cut your bullshit. I need you to grow up for a minute.
Right.
Why do you care? You don't want it, don't look at it. And in the end, and I know that some of the team is going to grow and say, you don't like it, don't play my shit.
Yep.
That's simple. Because I don't want your toxic shit in my game. I don't want your toxic shit in my community. So to make sure that we have inclusivity, we will exclude you. You will make the choice, but we will make sure the trigger is pulled. And I think it starts there. It's a change in philosophy. It is a change in understanding. It is the true acceptance of people, which is exactly what gamers came out to do. When gaming started, whether it was on your PC, whether it was on your gamepad, whatever you were using, whether it was in the arcade. For me, I started in the arcade. Man, if a girl came up and beat my ass, she was a better player than I was. Nothing. What can I learn from this? There was nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I don't care if he was the geeky little guy, or maybe it was the person who was struggling to come out or was not comfortable in themselves, but man, they were comfortable in gaming because we were the same. None of that mattered. It didn't matter if you were male, female, something else. Right? I say something else not as a slight, but I am really bad at the proper set of pronouns and the proper language to use. It's the old guy in me, but I'm trying because to me, we're just people. So that's our philosophy. Just be people. Stop falling into the stereotypes. Don't ignore the stereotype, but don't exclude the stereotype, but don't just sit on the stereotype. Let's have it all. Mm-hmm. So for gaming, that's what it is. And the second part of your question was how do you do it within the company? People who know me know I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care if you're male, if you're female, if you have some other pronoun, some other lifestyle choice. That's not my business. I want your creative intellect. I want your passion and your drive. I want you to be able to express yourself and have representation. So I did two things. One, I was open with everyone that's how I feel. I asked the question over a year ago to make sure I had better understanding because there are phrases that I use that are not appropriate. I did not know that. But you have to be open to learn that. And I was, and I am. One of the biggest problems needs to be addressed, and that is equality. Tay, you know yourself that everyone is equal and fair within our team. I mean, right. I would kind of turn the question back to you. Do you feel me saying that is adequate and true? Do you have the same opportunities as the other people in the team?
I do. But I'm also... maybe... I guess I can't really say because I know everyone on the team because I don't.
Okay.
But I've never felt like what I said didn't have weight.
Okay.
And my opinions have been listened to.
Good deal. So that's the first start, right? Case in point. The second thing is our Female Gamers Advisory Council. This was a big deal to me, and you know that, Tay. It was a very big deal for me. So, listen.
That actually leads into our next question.
Oh, does it? Okay, there you go. So, in our forming, we are predominantly male. I don't say that because it worked out that way. That's just who volunteered their time to be a part of this, was predominantly male. With that being the case, listen, I'm a father of two wonderful, beautiful daughters who are gamers. My grandchildren, I have three, excuse me, I have three granddaughters that are the children of my gamer children. I see the shit that they go through. I watch what my wife of 32 years goes through. God forbid she wants to make her character conservative, people treat her like shit. She wants to make her character sexy, everybody wants to hit it. What the fuck? What is wrong with people? These are gamers. You're supposed to accept that. So it made me realize, plus our conversations and other conversations that I've had, we need a stronger voice. And I don't want it to be something that is just something that's out there to hit a media niche, right? That is hitting, not a niche, but an itch, hitting a media hype of, inclusion. That's not the case. I wanted something with real merit, something with real teeth, and that became the advisory council. And it was really great. One of our writer, in fact, said to me, you're going to need to make sure they have power to make real change. And I took that to heart. So we create a thing, completely voluntary, and we run stuff past them. Sometimes it's a basic concept. What is okay for us to do? Is this okay to say? Take a look at this. What are your opinions? Those opinions have weight, and those opinions have absolutely changed things. In writing our original script, we went through taking their input and removed things that could have been construed in a negative light towards one specific gender or group of people. Not okay. They had that power. Our gaming council has absolute veto power in our game. Like right now, our potential finalized script for our tutorial level is presented to them. They can veto those that dialogue. They were instrumental in the framework of how we're handling our censoring and our chat, like as block or anything else like that, and how we're going to identify toxics and undesirable people. When I say undesirable people, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about those toxic assholes of any gender who just want to be trolls. We don't want you. We will fight you. We will remove you. And the Gaming Council was instrumental, absolutely instrumental in helping us develop tools and concepts of tools to assist with that. It's you've got to be willing to make the steps. You've got to be willing to do it from the ground. Zero was not originally able to be male, female, something else. The original concept of Zero for me was a guy, because I'm a guy, right? And so realize that impact is real. And this isn't some, my favorite political group that loves to foam at the mouth. This is not some liberal or libtard, socialist crap. No, there's the right thing and the wrong thing. And this is gaming. You don't want to be a part of it, don't be a part of it. But I'm including them because they are part of me. Plain and simple.
Right.
I really do get up on that soapbox, don't I?
No. You're fine. It's kind of you kind of led into the next question, which
Okay.
is what is FGAC
Okay.
and why is it important to you?
So the FGAC is exactly that, the Female Gaming Advisory Council. It is comprised only of women. I don't make any um, determinations on the type of woman. It's nothing like that. I don't even talk to them directly because I don't want them to have undue influence or feel that they don't have a voice. In their particular area of our Discord, they have absolute autonomy. And Tay, you know that you run that group.
Mm-hmm. I do.
My team, if they are male, they have been instructed. They can give a thumbs up. They can have a positive reaction. They are not allowed to quiet those voices no matter what. And we have heard some horrible, horrible stories.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely pathetic of how that they have been treated. It's important to me because we're all gamers, Tay. All of us. We've got to stop this bullshit. We have to stop this. Females are lesser. This has to stop. And I don't care if you were biologically born female or you have chosen to be female or you identify as female. Man, that's female.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's female. Stop. There's no other discussion here. And stop treating it like it's not the same. How can I look at my wife, my daughters, my granddaughters, my sister, my mother, my grandmothers, all these strong, powerful women in my life who are feminists in their own right, and they are the true feminists. How can I look at them with a serious look and tell them how much I love and respect them if I am not willing to make the stand, if I am not willing to make the rules, if I am not willing to let their voices be loud, heard, loud and proud in everything that they do? Because listen, in the end, I got news, and this is for all of you guys out there. They're stronger than we are, numbnuts. What they put up with, we won't. What they put up with, we can't. Of course you want to quiet the voice because it makes you feel lesser. Go feel lesser and grow up. That's why it's important to me. I think of my grandmothers in particular. These were strong women, both immigrants. My grandmother on my father's side is a German immigrant. My grandmother on my mother's side is an Irish, Scot-Irish. I don't want to get that wrong. Don't want her to turn their grave and slapping me. But these are strong women, and I look at my wife, who is also an immigrant, which is kind of funny, first generation immigrant. Man, strong women. Do you know how much better they make our lives? Women make our lives better. Hello. So yeah, I want their voice. Not only do I think that's what it is, Tay. I need their voice.
Yeah.
I know my
Definitely.
voice. I know how strong my voice is. I know how passionate my voice is. And I know, as a white guy with brown hair and blue eyes, I walk into a room, people are going to tend to listen to me. Right? That's how. So I've also got a voice that booms. Right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I get it. Well, you know what? I don't acquiesce the floor to them. I give them the floor. I need that voice from all of you because we will be better for it. That's why it's so important to me.
Right. So, still with the council, how will you prevent a group like the FGAC from becoming just another token advisory council? Do you have plans to broaden their scope as you grow?
Absolutely. So first of all, I want to answer in reverse. Do I plan on broadening their scope as we go? Absolutely. I want to see them be part of the company. I want, when I am able to do so, I want to literally pay to have their voice heard. Does that make sense? I mean, it kind of sounds a little shitty when I hear it like that, but I think there's something to be said if you're willing to put money where your mouth is, right? I want them to be paid to help guide us and direct us. And I want to be afraid of the teeth, right? I
Mhm.
want to have such a conscious understanding of the impact of what I do that their approval is something that you should strive for. Maybe that's an old concept, right? Maybe it's a mirror of when you look for the approval of your mom and dad because they were your guiding force. Yeah, I want them to be the guiding force, and I want that to be more than them. Actually, I want to grow the FGAC to be a representative in and of the original concept, which is the female voice. But oh god, Tay, I'm going to do it wrong. You know I never get this right. LGBTQT plus.
LGBTQ
Okay,
plus.
I hear you. I don't hear you. Listen, I'm not. I don't want to say it this way, but I want to say it this way. I have a granddaughter, two actually, that have taught me so much. They have taught me so much about what that means. And I
Mhm.
recognize I don't understand it. And I'm still struggling to understand it, but I want to. When I
Mhm.
use a blanket statement, my granddaughter Lauren is the first one, and she's like, "Lolo, that's not, that's no.
Right.
You don't say, oh, what did I do wrong? What was wrong? It's not that you did it wrong. I need you to understand where it's coming from. That representation must exist, and I don't mean the token exists. Do you know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
mean you have teeth, you have direction, you have sway, you have influence. I want this council to grow to make sure that we do not have hidden voices. And again, if it grows, they continue to have teeth, they have override powers, they have directional powers. And if you think for 1 minute that I care what your choices are in life in regards to your ability to be a part of the team, you're wrong. All I care about is what you can bring into the team. I want you to live your best life, your happiest life, your way. And I want you to help me develop a game that allows you to express your joy and creativity and fun within the game because you are represented, you are heard, and it feels like the worlds you want to live in. There you go. It sounds altruistic, I know that, but I'm okay with that.
That's what matters, right?
I think so. I mean, I sure as hell think so.
Yeah. How do you plan on preventing this group from becoming another token advisory council?
Give them power. Give them power. There, in the future, I very much see that this group um, will be at a high echelon. When I say high echelon, they report to me.
Mhm.
That they keep me on that straight and narrow and the proper course so that we can make sure the company stays on the straight and narrow course, proper course.
Mhm.
It's not just some social group, it's not just some media group. No, we're talking in the end full on employee, full on direction giving, order giving, correction giving power. And I think that is the easiest and best way and proper way to do that. When you give someone power to make change, make decisions, make policy, yeah, they will absolutely be the main force in our policy.
Right.
Or policies, I should say. Game and company. You have to forgive me. My nose is itching and I need to quit scratching at it.
We are still looking for more, by the way.
Yes, I'm sorry. if I didn't mention that, well, you just did. But yeah, we are happy to have more on the team. We're always looking for more. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter the country you're in. It doesn't matter if you, again, if you were born female, you identify female, you are transgender female. Guys, it doesn't matter. And I say guys, proverbial, meaning us, right? So guys and gals, I don't have limitations on this. I also don't make the decision, do I, Tay?
Nope, I do.
It would be really bad if the even as the head of the company, if I'm making a decision who gets to be on there and who's not. Doesn't that kind of negate exactly what I was just saying? Um, so here we have this portion of the company is being head by a woman, Tay, and I don't have a say of who stays. Now, I also don't have a say of who goes. Actually, Tay makes an academic recommendations like anyone else. My voice isn't mute, but it
Mhm.
does not control. My voice does not control that group. And Tay, you can correct me. You can do it live if you like. You can correct me if I am wrong or I have misspoke.
Nope, it's absolutely correct. All the decisions that have been made regarding um, the council have been me. If Sean wants to say something to them, I look over it and then I decide if I want to share that.
There you go.
Everything, if someone from the team needs to ask our council something, it comes to me first. I look over it. If I'm good with it, I push it through to them. If not, I send it back to be revised or changed, or just say, nope, we're not using this. Because I don't want them to feel like it's coming from a place where they have to do this, or it's worded in a way that they're not comfortable with, and coming from me instead of coming from you, or say our writer or our coder or our male artists.
Mhm.
That, I think that would be a more uncomfortable situation for them, because that's not what they're here for. They're here to give their opinion as a woman
Mhm.
to these things, and it's easier if it is coming from a woman.
Absolutely. There you go. See, that was all you, Tay. That was all you.
All right, so we're just gonna kind of, not that this isn't important, but we're gonna step back from them for a
Okay.
second. What do you see as the most underrated trend in gaming today?
Most underrated trend?
Yes.
Um, our peers. Um, it's really funny to me because our peers. Now, mind you, I have bias. I am an our peer, but let's actually talk about the numbers for a second. Who puts the most time in games? All games across all but first-person shooters. Who puts in the most time? Not talking money. I'm talking time. Who puts in the most time?
Role players.
Yep. It is who put. Here's one for you. Who puts in the least amount of time?
PvPers.
Every time. Every single time. Every single study. So I played EQ, and I'm just using it as an example. It's not the only example, but it's a really good example of so many different things. Um, EverQuest, until the more recent stuff, and recent we're talking years now, but their version, perspective recent for them, they started going the way of like WoW with how their stuff works. WoW is a great example because we all know it. Again, not trying to pick on WoW, particularly not in this case because there is no picking on, it's just examples. Recently, when I say recently, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe just a year ago. EverQuest does a time lock progression server, otherwise known as like a WoW Classic server, where you go back to your original game and people get to restart going through it. And they did this one, but they did something different. They did a thing called free trade, where things weren't no drop. Not everything was no drop. You could trade, and you create a player economy through it. And through that economy, there's also their entire thing of their currency. Not getting into that, but this game for years, people played on Firiona Ve. Firiona Ve was it is still the RP server, recognized as the RP server. People were trading and they were doing their own events and they were just enjoying the game their way. Most consistent population in all of EQ is Firiona Ve. The PvPers come in and talk shit. They should have their own server. They are the biggest group. They do a PvP server, and it is like the dead server within a month. Firiona Ve, for 20 years, has been their most consistent server. There was a WoW server that was the RP server. I'm pretty sure that one was the most stable. Don't quote me on it because I didn't research it, but I'm pretty sure it was because it always had consistent, not necessarily the highest, consistent. There's a difference. As a company, consistency is money. That is money in the bank. That is the money that pays payroll. And that is vital. I will take consistency over trend hop any day of the week. So, our peers. What does that actually mean? Does it mean that they're immediately going into erotic role play? No. Does it mean that they're automatically doing things that are off your normal spectrum? Your proverbial spectrum, the base spectrum for all people? No, it doesn't. What it means is they tend to look at aesthetics first. That group has been ignored. And here's what's funny about it. You hear me talk a lot about survival games or MMOs, right? And I'm going to piss off a lot of people when I say this. The MMO genre as a whole is a niche market, period. Not even up for actual economic debate. It has always been a niche market. Always. It was just the most media intense one. The biggest thing that because the question is, what is the, I need you to re-ask the question because I definitely feel I went off topic. Did I go off topic?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Did I go off topic? I feel like I did. Repeat the question for me.
No, you're fine. What do you see the most underrated trends in gaming?
Oh, underrated trend. I'm sorry, I was going off on a tangent.
You're fine.
The most.
Well, if it helps, the next question is, what is the most overrated?
Oh, don't worry, I've got that one in spades. The most underrated trend, hidden gaming. God, this is a Pandora's box of shit. Multiplayer. Now everybody's gonna say like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm going to reference Life is Feudal, Empyrean, Ark, Minecraft, Rust, Worm, 7 Days to Die. I mean, just pick any one of the survival or survival-esque. Can I say survival-esque? Conan Exiles, right? Your server hosting technology is ass. And we all accept it. We accept the disconnects. We accept the player limitations. We accept the shitty databasing. Because we believe that someone else can host it. So the most underrated trend in gaming right now is building a proper database and multi-server host. And I got news for you. As much as I like them, Amazon services is not the fucking answer. You're a developer. Fix your shit before you expect someone else to fix it. Because that need is so high. It is so wanted that it is undeniable. And this is not a trend that the gamer is going to see. This is a developer seeing trend. the trend of getting better server architecture and databasing for the massive amount of transactions that happen within a database for any kind of co-op. And here's the, oh my God, please stop with the 4-person co-op. There's more than 4 people, damn it. Sorry.
It's okay. So
I get a little
what
fired
would
up,
you...
Tay.
You're fine. Let's talk about the most overrated.
The most overrated trend is
First-person shooters.
yes, it
Sorry.
is. No, but it is. And here's why. Everybody, why is it? Because when you start developing, guess what the first thing you typically learn is?
Hmm.
First person shooter. Why? I have a simple camera angle. I have something I hold in my hand, whether you're using Unity or you're using Unreal or any other engine out there. Their tutorials basically start with that. You know, you're creating a projectile that explodes. You're swapping out weapons. You have an inventory. You're doing level by level. You're not doing an open persistent world. So all of our all of our true basics of making a game are within that. Every aspect of game making is actually in a first person shooter. And I really hate that I'm saying that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Because one, it's engaging. You get a dopamine hit right away. The reason that these are used in that way is because every game developer wants you to get your dopamine hit. That dopamine hit comes with destruction from accomplishing, right? From being able to kill the boss or kill this or survive or whatever the case is. And first person shooters do it. Um, there is actually, I think it's unfair to actually put first person shooters there as the catch all, but it is. As a close second, maybe an equal, maybe a touch over it is stop with the zombie games. Holy mother of God. I understand The Walking Dead was popular. I understand that survival is popular. I get it. I swear, if I see one more zombie game, one more zombie first person shooter, boss soaking bullshit, I might scream and pull out the hair that I have left and make my forehead recede a little further back. Those two things, because they're really only hitting, they're hitting one of the things I cannot stand about gaming, and that is the transient nature of the gamer, not created by the gamer, created by the developer. The developers have created this transient trend. You are not giving me a world to live in. You are not giving me a game world to live in. You are giving me an episode to play. I'm tired of it. And nothing encapsulates that more than first person shooter and zombie games.
Hmm.
So there you go. Maybe I'm a little too passionate about things.
That's a good thing.
Maybe.
Maybe. So do you ever plan to go beyond mobile games?
Oh, yes. Listen, let's talk about that for a second. It goes back to the whole money thing. Why start with a mobile game? It was not my first intention. My first intention was not to create a mobile game. In fact, it was to intentionally not create a mobile game. So I'm sitting there, I'm working on my development of a game called Souls. And it was one of those things to where the amount of development was more than I could do. It was more than I
Hmm.
could do in a realistic time period, simply because that kind of development requires a team, a significant team, and a significant level of knowledge that I don't necessarily have, that I would have to adapt and grow to as I was going. So now you're talking about a 2-3 year project into a 10-year project. You can't develop a project for 10 years and it be received well, because you're going to be behind, typically, you're going to be behind the technological curve. Games have to be developed within a time span. So I'm sitting there and I'm a little upset about it and I'm struggling with it. And my son, one of my sons, my youngest, turns around and says, he's having a conversation with me, and he says, "Dad, just make something you can put out there, make some money. Just be honest about it." And I
Mm-hmm.
thought about it, and one of our fans at Amethyst told me very simply, "Oh my God, you're making a shitter game." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm doing what?" He's like, "You're making a shitter game. You're making a game that I can go and take, and my time in the shitter, I can play something and enjoy my time." Sure, yes. But then I bought into the idea. Mobile gaming is the largest segment of gaming in the world. It is so big. Has so much exposure. It is the quintessential way to self-fund. So taking what my son said, taking the need to generate money to create a true full studio, let's take the best opportunity we have. And our best opportunity is to develop a game for mobile in which we can capitalize on that market and get our little slice of that pie. Also, if I if I do a game on mobile, I'm automatically giving up 30%. Fuck you, Apple. Fuck you, Android. Sorry, folks. Bullshit. They get 30% for a whole lot of nothing. And that's how I felt for a very long time until I actually read Steam's agreement. And then I realized who the real asshole is. No matter what I do, no matter what I develop, no matter what gets published, we are giving up 30%. If I'm going to have to give up 30%, then I am going to give up 30% with the largest possible market I can to
Mm-hmm.
generate the funds to to fund the studio, to go ahead and create a company fiscal structure that is tangible and can go ahead and um, last for decades. So, biggest market with the biggest spenders and the biggest exposure. So, mobile market putting out on iOS and Android, we're going to have every phone that exists on the planet able to potentially play our game. It's a business choice. So, do I want to do that? No, that's not my passion. My passion will always be souls, a world in which you can live in.
Mm-hmm.
But that needs money. And I'm not
Right.
willing to get a loan. I'm not willing to get investors like that. I would rather build my reputation and give you a solid, good, fun product that you're playing on your phone, whether you're playing it sitting in your chair, laying in your bed, or in the privacy of your bathroom doing whatever you feel you need to do. Um, I'll take that exposure. It gives us the best possible chance
Mm-hmm.
to go ahead and capture the amount of money that we want to capture. But again, without being pay to win, with just
Right.
giving you aesthetics, with letting our art team express themselves, and you let us know with your money whether you like it or not.
Right.
How's that for open and honest?
I think that's pretty open and honest. So I have one last question
All
for
right.
you. Where do you see AE being in 5 years and in 10 years?
In 5 years, I see us in the full development of Souls, our big project, our what I look for it to be our flagship. That would mean that
Mm-hmm.
we released Catapult when we needed to, and it generated the money that we wanted to generate. I see in that 5 years, Amethyst Eyeworks going ahead and providing real employment, real growth opportunities for our employees, and I see that in the 100 range. Um, and please understand, for me, when I say true employment, I'm talking about a true industry, setting a new standard. That standard being that employees are paid a true livable growth wage the entire time that they're there, where The economy is doing better. We're getting more money in. People get raises commensurate to that. Where we as a company, like I've done in the past, where this company is able to pay all of our employees medical expenses, and I don't, medical insurance, excuse me. And what I mean by that, I don't mean you're paying a portion. I mean, just like in the past when I had my employees, I paid all of their insurance. That was all of their health, all of their dental, all of their visual. That is important to me. I am talking about where you can come in on the ground floor and you can work your way up from starter and learning to retiring. So you're building your retirement while you're working for us. Where you are, whether you are male or female, you get proper time off and you have a proper work schedule where you're not working to live and you're not
And what
living to work.
about
Oh, I'm sorry.
and
Go
what
ahead.
about no, it's okay. What about remote?
Well, as you know, I'm full about remote. Listen, we're in a technology age in time where saying that someone has to come into an office is bullshit. Stop.
Mm,
Now, some people need to, and I respect that. So if that means that we have satellite offices where you can go into an office and work, then yes. If that means you're working from home, then yes. Let IT worry about security. Let me worry about security, right? But I want
mhm,
you to be able from start to finish stay with us. I want you to be able to develop your skills with us. I want to retain the institutional knowledge that you're going to gain throughout the entirety. I want you to be able to retire from Amethyst Eyeworks and say, you know what? They did me right. I'm about to blow everybody's mind. I don't believe in a 40-hour work week. I think it's wrong, and I think it is completely illogical for mental health and personal health for someone to work more than 50% of their day. Then you say, well, I only
mhm,
work 8 hours a day. Okay, all right, I'm going to take that argument for a minute. I'm about to wreck it because you need to sleep 8 hours a day, correct?
mhm.
That is what scientifically we know we should be sleeping. We don't do it, but that's what we should be doing. So we're already harming our health. Take 8 hours out of 24 hours, and we are now down to 16 hours. If you work an 8 hour day, 5 days a week, how much of your life is that eating into? Where is your free time? Where is your recoup time? Where is your prep for dinner, prep for lunch, prep for breakfast, prep for anything? Where is your time to work out for your health? Where is the time for you to relax for your mental health or work out for your mental health? As soon as you say 8 hours, you know what you've actually said? I got you for 9. I
Yeah.
got you for 9 to 10. Not even talking commute time. I am talking about your law required here in the US 15-minute break times 2, that's 30 minutes, and a minimum of a 30-minute lunch. Who the fuck can actually get a proper lunch in 30 minutes of getting up, leaving, getting it, eating it, and come back? It's bullshit. The minimum standard is not sufficient. I say that 32 hours a week should be considered full time. My plan is to go ahead and make it to where you are paid 40 hours, but you only have to work 32. The reason why you're paid for 40 hours is so that the financial institutions can't fuck you up and say, oh, you only work part time, this isn't enough money. We're not
Mhm,
playing that game. I want everyone to make a livable wage. What is a livable wage? Not the media version. A livable wage to me is what a single person has to make in order to support a household of them, a partner and or spouse, however you want to look at it, and at least one child or two. I'm not sure which one there. I've got to look at the numbers more. That is a livable wage. That means that A, you're not paying for health insurance, so I'm not taking that away from your wage. B, you have more time at home. You have more time to do your doctor visits, do whatever it is that you need to do. I want only 4 days of your work week. I just want 4 days. That means that the other 3 days are absolutely yours. Why four? Why not three? Well, I'm willing to talk about that. If you are someone that wants to do a task-oriented job, I want to be able to afford that to you. I want you to say, Sean, I can get this done in 6 days. And I just know by the time 6 days comes up, you have it done. I don't care what you do in between. I don't care what you do before. I don't care what you do after. That is not my business. It is my job as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to supply you a proper pay, proper employment, proper time, so that you get to live life to its fullest, not work life to its fullest. I think that's bullshit. That's what I see in 5 years. In 10 years, I want to see, not me, because I will be retired by then. I'm already 50. In 10 years, when I'm 60, I fully expect someone else to take over the company at that point. But in that time, I want to see Amethyst Eyeworks on the cover of Time magazine. I want to see it respected so much that people are lined up to work for the company and be a part of the company. Because and the reason we're on Time magazine is because we have changed the standard and show the proper care for both our consumers and our employees globally, where we set the standard of how business is supposed to be done. There is a right way, folks, and there is the wrong way, and I'm tired of seeing the wrong way.
Most definitely.
So
I think
there
the
you
thing
go.
that well, I think also the thing that I've enjoyed the most is if I have something to do during the day, I can go out and do that, and then make dinner for my husband, and then 7 o'clock at night comes, and I can do the project that I need to do.
Absolutely. Why does it have to be 9 to 5? Why? Why do I have to see you
norm.
in the office? Right?
Yeah.
Why? Listen, I could put my camera on and be in the office anywhere I am.
Right.
Why not? Why are we so stuck to these farmer norms? These are where these came from, folks. Farmer norms that died during the industrial age, and we're trying to hold on to them, and we're trying to shackle people to bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done with this philosophy. I've been a business owner. I've had to listen. A real estate title company has to work from like 7 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. You know why? That's when the courthouses are open. And the title company deals so much with a courthouse, right? So I'm not saying traditional business doesn't apply, but it absolutely does not apply to a gaming company, right? Your time in office, out of office, how you do all it should be determined by your business need. If your business isn't providing health care, but you're telling them they have to be in your office from 9 to 5, I'm going to ask you why. What asshole made that decision? Oh, we don't make enough profit. Okay, change your methodology. Change your methodology. That's all you got to do. I'm going to stop before I get on a major pulpit and high horse.
Well, that's
because I feel it brewing. It's there.
That's all the questions that I have. So thank you so much for doing this for us.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure. I'm happy to do it. Hell, I got to do another video as a general intro to our Facebook, and I have to do our monthly update. So
you're going to be busy.
I'm always busy, my dear. I am always busy. I am always busy. Yes.
TikTok.
I know. Listen, every time I turn around, I have another hat I need to put on.
I know.
And I believe we have a meeting here
in an hour.
In an hour.
50 minutes.
This might give me a chance for me to get a little something to eat before we do the meeting. But thank you. Thank you to you, to John, to the advisory council for the questions. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts. I mean, you know them, but let's get them out there so other people know what they are too. And most importantly, thank you to all of you. Whether you are a subscriber or not, whether you are just interested, whether you think I'm a giant idiot, it doesn't matter. I appreciate all of you within the contextual sense of you're out there, you want to see what's available, what's not available, and you've given us some of your time, and that means a lot to me. So, with that, I'm going to bid you a good night. Tay, have a wonderful night. I'll see you at the meeting. And to
Hmm.
everyone else, you know, just remember we're gamers, and that means we're all equal. So, have a great night.